Hello everybody, this is us back for another podcast. This is our podcast on controversial films, and we have a special guest this time, as well as Ronin. Say hello, Ronin.
Hello everyone, welcome to the show.
You didn't go for the joke, hello Ronin. Jesus. Jesus.
No,
You're useless.
It's early in the morning.
Alright. We have SJS Films. I'm not even going to try and pronounce your name, because I took 3 months to actually learn how to say Daisuke Beppu, so you can pronounce your name, please.
Yeah, you mean my real name?
Yes.
It's called Simo Juhani Sievenen.
Yeah, that'll take me months to learn how to pronounce.
Yeah, Finnish is a really hard language, so.
Yeah. So, you're at channel SJS Films, where you're doing little reviews, and you've also got a podcast, which is Folgers and Ashers, is that right?
Yeah, I have a podcast with my friend Isaac Dunn, and he visited your podcast as well, so he was a guest on your podcast.
Yes. So we're trying to bring people in every so often, so it's not like something that happens all the time. It's just something that's a nice little treat of someone we think we can come in, bring someone in who can actually add something to a subject. And we decided to do controversial films. We thought this would be up your alley, so we thought we'd ask you in, and you said yes, so thank you for agreeing.
Yeah. Yes, thanks.
And so generally the idea is we're going to talk about controversial films, and because this came from us talking about the Video Nasties, one of the other videos about the raw band, and plus I did a couple of videos last year that were kind of banned films, which was Serbian film, which was not a good film at all.
No.
So who's all seen Serbian film?
I have watched it once.
I watched it this week, actually.
Oh my god!
Are you on a tear for controversial?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you just told me before we started you watched Salo as well. So both them in 1 week. That's even taking my extremes a bit too far. In that's odd. That's punishing.
I thought I needed to watch them for this podcast, so.
Oh my god.
And me and Isaac are actually gonna talk about a Serbian film in our next podcast as well, so.
Alright. So you're making him watch it too?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. So what did you think of Serbian film? I don't want to have you on too long about it because you're going to do it in your own podcast, but what did you think of it?
I thought it was atrocious. Yeah. I mean, it's just gore and porn for the sake of it. It doesn't have any meaning, I think. Yeah.
No, it's terrible. I mean, that's the problem with some of the Serbian film. It is boring. It's just like nasty for the sake of nasty, and you can kind of tell. But you have something like Salo, which is... What do you think of Salo?
I actually really liked it.
Yes.
For me, it was actually quite funny.
Yeah, I thought it was funny as well. What about you, Ronan?
Yeah, I mean, I think people kind of underestimate the fact that Pasolini did have a sense of humour. Obviously, it is his most nihilistic and bleakest film, especially after the 3 films he did before it. But obviously, it does have a point, which sadly is still relevant, and it was his reaction to what he saw, what was going on in Italy at the time.
Yeah, because this was stuff that has been done in books, fine, for years. I mean, look at Naked Lunch or something like that, the Bill Burr's book, and all the other books he wrote about. He used the idea of obscenity for control, about control, how people like to control each other, how people like to torture each other just for their own sick needs. So it's not nothing that is out of bounds in literature, but just when it went into film, it was viewed as too far. I mean, I think in my video I said that me and my friend, when we were watching it, we were laughing our heads off the GFT, like lunatics, because we just thought it was hilarious.
Even in the last 10 minutes?
Especially because...
That's when the laughter stopped?
No, because when they showed it right, it was before it was remastered, and all the blood looked really fake.
Right.
So it looked really red, and it became like this sort of absurd. It's almost like watching a cartoon. So it actually was. That was like the funniest bit of it, because the way the colour of the blood was.
I mean, what I would say about a Serbian film is it's weird because it does seem to have a cult on the internet of people who really like it, and I think it's probably partly to do with the fact that it is so notorious, but it is, as you guys have already said, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, there's nothing to talk about. I mean, with Salo, it's genuinely funny because it is about the kind of politicians and what the kind of stuff, the excuses they have, especially set during World War II, when the politicians during that time did the most awful stuff to people.
Yeah.
And it was just a genuine look at the most extreme version of it. It's like...
Yeah. I mean, people have defended a Serbian film by saying, oh, you have to understand what was happening in Serbia at the time as well, but I don't really buy that.
No, it just feels like garbage. But you're going to say SJS?
Yeah, I think the best controversial films are the films that are really funny as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of films that were controversial at the time that aren't anymore. Because people get used to what they're doing and what they're about. People understand what's under the surface. Something took people time, but they eventually got there.
I mean, looking back at the video nasties, a lot of the films are actually really tame by today's standards. A lot of the films were kind of misunderstood at the time and just labelled as a video nasty, but a lot of them are just pretty tame films. And
bloody awful, usually.
And pretty bad films, yeah.
Yeah, they're terrible. They're just terrible films. Most of them is like, if you look at, there's this box that me and Ronin both have about the go through the video nasties, and they also go through the individual films that were banned, and you go through them, and all these critics talked about them, and what comes across is how much of this stuff was trash that would have been forgotten about in 10 minutes if people had just let it be.
Yeah, because people forget, if they don't actually stir up controversy about a film, a large majority of them would just be forgotten about.
Yeah, and most of them were just the kind of garbage stuff you see the bottom of the video store and going, I'm not watching that, that looks garbage, that just looks terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, most people have taste to say, nah, I'm not going to bother.
But it's funny, cause compared to today, the actual video nasty furore actually looks a bit quaint looking back at it, even though they were threatening to like put shop owners in prison and stuff like that. But looking back on it, it's compared with the outrage people have about everything now, it does seem a little bit quaint looking back at it.
Yeah, I mean, one controversial film I was going to bring up was Monty Python's Life of Brian. That was not about violence, that was about the subject matter, there was a controversy.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's a hilarious film, and it's like, it was because it
but again, the people who were upset about that missed the whole point of it. It wasn't about Christ, it was about a parallel figure, but as usual they always miss the point.
It was a mechanism of religion rather than religion itself. It was what we make a religion.
And that's the other thing, a lot of people who want films banned, you actually find out that they've never actually seen it. They just go along with what they've heard, but they've never actually seen the film.
Yeah, that one took a while. People going from, because it was only banned in certain parts of Britain, like certain boroughs, people would just go to the next borough and watch it there. And it was like, well, that's useless. It just means people have to travel to see a film. And it actually shows that they don't have enough respect for people to make their own decisions. It's a very kind of patronising reaction. Is like, we're going to cut this film, we're going to ban this film in this borough because we dislike it, and we haven't seen it, but we dislike the very thought of it, and you shouldn't think these thoughts because we want to think these thoughts. And it's like, are we in the third world here? Are we in like Iran where they're banning films and putting directors in jail?
Yeah, it's all Mary Whitehouse thing. who was very powerful in the 70s and 80s and friends with Margaret Thatcher, about banning everything and telling people what they should and shouldn't watch.
Yeah. Have you seen Life of Brian? SJS?
Yeah, I've seen it, but it's been years, so I don't remember that well.
Oh, right,
so, yeah.
I think it was one of those things that was big at the time of a certain age, and you grew up with the idea that it had been banned, because it was one of those films for people of a certain age. It was a film you can't see because it took for a while for it to go in a video because of all the controversy. And then it eventually was shown on Channel 4. It was a big thing. They're showing Life of Brian. Oh, it's like, this should never have been a controversy. It should have just have been shown and let people see the film, and either like it or they don't, and that's it.
And obviously the famous interview that no doubt will be on YouTube with John Cleese and I don't know if it was an archbishop or something.
Yeah.
Which is just a classic interview.
Yeah, total farce.
Yeah.
And a more recent one was Crash, David Cronenberg's Crash.
Yes.
Because he managed to combine sex and violence in one film and cars and...
Yeah, but then it wasn't what people thought it was, because I remember seeing it in the cinema, and the people that were kind of going to see it thought it was going to be like Basic Instinct with cars or whatever, and of course it's not an erotic thriller. The car crashes aren't sexy, to put the wrong word on it, but he didn't fetishize car accidents either. So the people that were kind of looking for this lurid sex thriller, it just wasn't that. It was really just for Cronenberg fans, basically.
Yeah, because I saw it in the cinema. I saw it in Edinburgh Film House, and everybody got the joke. Everybody was laughing at it. Everybody was reacting to it. It was a really good audience because they all got what it was. But the funny thing is, in most mainstream movies, you're going to see car crashes fetishized, and that's more sick than the actual film crash is, because film crash is actually criticising that impulse. And that's the problem, is that people criticise the impulse is where they get really they feel very weird about it. Except in another film, How I Won the War, when it came out, because it criticised the military and criticised British policies, it was controversial, while at the same time Dirty Dozen was playing at the same time, and it was just a cynical commercial film. Like, it was just released and that was it. No one cared.
Well, you have to remember Churchill wanted to ban Life and Death of Colonel Blimp.
Yeah, because it showed...
For pretty much the same reasons.
Yeah. So a lot of the controversy, I think, is some of the subject matter and what they're saying rather than the actual violence. The violence is something somewhere, but use it when it requires thought. I think sometimes that's when people have a problem, because it requires you to think something complicated through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, since we don't know anything about Finland, has there been any films in Finland that have been banned or been controversial and things that we would never think about that was controversial over there?
I don't think any films have been banned, but there have been some controversial films. Like, I just rewatched a film called Frozen Land, and it's kind of like a graphic version of Magnolia. Yeah, it has some graphic sex scenes and violence. Yeah.
They don't like that then?
Yeah, it's a good film, actually. I liked it.
I know, but did they not like it though? That was the Finland censor didn't like it then.
Yeah, I think it might be controversial. I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah, and I think it goes country to country though. I mean, there was a thing about how controversial Shivers were, the Cronenberg film Shivers, when it was released in Canada. And it caused they had a fit because it was using public money to make this horrible film, this horror film. So I mean, you can get controversy for all sorts of things. That's anything that's unusual. So I was going to suggest maybe we talk about what are the films that we find. Well, what's your favourite controversial film? What's a film you think is really interesting but is controversial?
The Devils by Ken Russell.
The Devils?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen that film for a long time.
Yeah, I haven't seen it for years. It definitely needs a re-release, but I'm not sure that's going to happen, is it?
Well,
Yeah.
the BFI did a DVD version, which I've got, but I haven't watched it. But it was one of those films that came over here when it was released. It was cut down and eventually showed it on TV like, years later. Then they barely ever show it again. So why do you like the Devils then?
I mean, I think it's obviously a really funny film again, and it has great performances, and it's a good satire about the Catholic Church, and it's a good critique of the Catholic Church, I think.
Yeah, no one they seem to hate the church being criticised. Like, that was a thing for a long time. Not so much now because of all those paedophilia scandals. Now it's kind of easier to lay into at least the church. I mean, you can't lay into Islam or something at the moment, but you can lay into the Christians, really. But I mean, but for a long time you couldn't. A long time that was controversial.
Yeah, because churches used to have more power, and they also had more. They had the ear of governments a bit more than they do now. Obviously, in some countries they still do, but in the majority of Western countries, they don't quite have the same kind of pull.
Yeah, because I think they know that. I think most politicians know that people won't put up with the church's morality. It's just not something that has a power to affect government, really, because people won't vote for a lot of religious dogma anymore.
Yeah, even though, for example, in the States, I think that's going back the way, like everything is in the States, it seems.
Yeah, I think the States it goes back and forward. I think it's one of those things that's kind of depends who's in power. Republicans in power, they get a bit more power. Then when Democrats go in, they lose a bit.
And it depends on the state as well.
Yeah.
What was that?
It depends on the state as well, whether it's like Arizona or California or New York, whatever.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
there was a notorious.
They're essentially their own wee countries anyway, so.
Oh yeah, I mean, I guess. But as a bit was said earlier, but we're over here when Life of Brian came out, you could go to a different county or a different borough and watch the film. If it was banned in yours, you could always go somewhere else. You just cross the line and you'd actually see it. And nowadays, because of the internet, people can put up controversial films on the internet, and it's very difficult for anyone to censor them because they're going to be somewhere. No matter how horrible it is, no matter what kind of material, it's going to be somewhere. So it's a complicated issue. But I mean, there was another one. One of my favourites was The Last Temptation of Christ, which was a religious film, but people hated it for the fact that it talked about it treated Christ as a human being, really, and it talked about his flaws and what could potentially be his desires. And to me, that's a much more religious film than some piece of crap like The Passion of Christ, which was just about torture.
Yeah.
Which was like, why was that not controversial? Because it had nothing to do with belief. It had all to do with watching someone getting absolutely tortured for.
I think there was a little bit of controversy with it, but I think again that was more on the side of the violence rather than any religious reason. I think could be wrong.
Yeah, I think it was, but I think the church defended that one, even though it was an absolutely brutal, horrible film.
Yeah.
But something like Last Temptation of Christ, which actually had ideas, was the one they really objected to.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a... Again, The Devils is one that people objected to because they thought it was Ken Russ being vulgar and he's criticising the church, and... I mean... I think the 70s Ken Russell managed to annoy a lot of people. I think he was... every time he made a film, there was another controversy. I mean, there was Crimes of Passion in the 80s as well, which got a lot of controversy, one with Kathleen Turner.
Yeah, and Women in Love as well. So
yeah, I mean, he racked him up for the controversies. I mean,
and Lair of the White Worm for different reasons.
I would not have anything to say about Lair of the White Worm. It's a perfect film in its own way.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, it's I think certain directors just get under the skin of what the powers that be because they've actually questioned the authority more than anything else. I think in a lot of cases, people like to have the status quo not challenged. They want it to be an easy life.
Sure.
Really.
Yeah.
But then art should be challenging.
Yeah. Were you going to say something in SJS?
No.
I thought you were waiting for to say something, sorry. But what kind of things in Finland, what kind of stuff does are people sensitive towards? Like, what would be in Finland, what would be the difference between like someone like the UK? What would actually get people more annoyed, you think?
I mean, it's hard to say because Finland is such a liberal country, so I think maybe a war film that's really favorable towards Russians, maybe.
All right.
Because we have the World War history, so maybe something like that.
Yeah, but generally they'd be okay. Would they be against stuff that's right wing though nowadays? Because a lot of stuff for nowadays, it's like because everything's gone. Because it used to be in the 40s in the UK, you had like a lot of the media was very right wing, and the kind of lefty kind of stuff was called communist, and that would be controversial. And nowadays it seems like the media is now much more left wing, and anything that's right wing gets a lot of controversy. Would that kind of stuff in Finland get more controversy?
I mean, Finland is quite like equally split between left wing and right wing, so it depends on the person, I think. But the media is more left wing, like in here as well.
Yeah. I tend to notice that anything that's leans right will just call it alt-right instantly. you know, which is a bit weird because it's a lot of times it's just nonsense. But I'm not sure if I'm going in the right direction on this one. I think politics can be twisted to create controversy when there's no real controversy there. It's just a different opinion about something. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not convinced some of the media, which is left wing because they believe that in the left wing, and more just because it's acceptable to be more left wing now. Yeah. And any time you're slightly conservative, then there's so many people nowadays that are offended by absolutely everything. So it's more acceptable to kind of be left wing, whether you believe in it or not.
Yeah, because remember in the 40s and 50s it was much more reasonable to be right wing and to hate different people because of very surface level differences, and that was conventional.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Obviously, the right wing and extreme right wing is on the rise pretty much across Europe.
I know,
and it's pretty much every country, every kind of far right political party is getting more and more power in every single, well, not every single country, but quite a lot of countries across Europe.
Yeah, that's a concern. I mean, I'm worried about that as well. But it does seem like politics has become the new controversy. That everything you say is now controversial.
Yes.
Like, anything's controversial.
So it's kind of, it's the difference between controversy and what people view as offensive. But obviously, what people view as offensive depends on the person, and for some people it can seem ridiculously stupid. But for some people, they obviously take it seriously.
Yeah, but people have the choice to not to watch the stuff that.
Exactly.
But
I always remember.
Complain about it.
Yeah, I always remember the programme Points of View in the BBC where people would go, I'm really offended by this, I'm really offended by this. I watched all of it, but I'm really offended by it. And it's like, well, why are you watching?
Yeah, I mean, I'm offended by stuff every day. It doesn't mean I think it should be banned. I mean, it's just like,
yeah,
I think it's just, yeah, I mean, honestly, I'd rather have the right-wing loonies be public so I know who they are. And then you can be worried about them, but at least you know who they are. It's the same as I want to know who the left-wing loonies are as well. I want to know who the extremists, like Antifa people are, the ones that are hit people with bike locks and stuff. I want to know who they are too. I want to know who the extremists are so you can actually argue with them and say, like, that's kind of stupid. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
But it's also, people seem to think nowadays, because they're offended, something's got to be done about it. And it's like, you're offended, the world still keeps turning. If you're offended, it doesn't really make any difference.
Yeah. But the thing is, it's not like something like Iran, because I did a video last year with the director in Iran whose film was banned and he ended up in house arrest for a long time.
Yeah.
This is not a film, and it was like, this is real censorship. This is nothing compared to I'm Offended. This is like really happening. This is stuff that is very difficult. I mean, there were films in like India that had controversy. There's films in the Middle East is very difficult, or China's very difficult to get films out that are difficult subject matters dealing with an unjust regime.
Yeah.
To me, that's much more difficult, and that's much more somebody should be supporting rather than, oh, I'm offended because someone used their rights to actually say something I don't like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like people just get sensitive towards almost anything that's like there's that, remember that movie just came out, Birds of Prey. It was like we're all talking about it. It was like, this is a worthless film. Why are we even discussing it? Why don't we just say that's stupid, forget about it? Like, why are people even talking about it? Or the politics of Star Wars, the new Star Wars films, it's like, they're nonsense, shut up, go on with something real.
It's because they've went into this quota system of, you know, I'm offended by that film because it doesn't have enough women in it, or it doesn't have enough people of ethnic backgrounds in it. So some films are cast completely wrongly just so people don't get offended about their casting and things.
Yeah, and usually it's some white guy writing for an ethnic minority and does it really badly. It's like, just give someone with talent and from that minority money to make a good film. Rather than,
because it's turned into, we've got to represent every single demographic in the casting of a film, whether it's actually getting to do with the subject of the film or not.
Yeah, I mean, you should cast a film the way it should be cast, but you should also be checking and say, okay, of all these, is it just one subject matter that's been funded? You know, I think it's much more to do with funding and try to fund a lot of films from different places to try and get different voices out there that might be interesting. Like, I think a lot of time you actually have kind of bullshit detector when you're watching a film if it's trying to pander to people.
Yeah.
And it's not just about a big mainstream film. Sometimes you see the indie films that are almost like pandering to their audience to say, look, I'm cool, I'm wonderful. And it's like, oh, this is boring. Just give me somebody who will say something offensive that's interesting.
Yeah.
You know, does that make sense?
These films usually do really badly in the box office as well. So
yeah, right. But I get people can sniff them out, and it's like, nah, I'm not going to bother. I just don't want to see this because it looks patronising as hell.
Yeah.
And it's
I've stopped watching commercial films. So.
What's that?
I've stopped watching commercial films.
Oh, I haven't. They're good fun. They're a good laugh. But you can laugh at them, and I'm too sarcastic to not watch them. I enjoy a good stupid film. I like watching how people can get themselves in knots over something so dumb. Like, even though we were playing about it, I also quite enjoy watching them just absolutely make a fool of themselves, trying to follow this or follow that, and it's like, this is so stupid, come on. Surely you know better than this.
Yeah, sometimes it's also good practice when you watch it to go, if I was making that, it would be 3 minutes long.
What, most films?
Instead of 2.5 hours. Yeah.
Most films.
Yeah, because you just go, I would take that out, take that out, take that out. There's no need for that. So
yes,
sometimes it's good practice.
Yeah. Or some films would be the title sequence.
Yes.
Or the title card. That would be it. Yeah, that's actually, as viewers of my channel probably know, I like a good stupid film, but they have to be genuinely stupid. It's the pandering ones that really get on my nerves though. It's like you can't sort of sniff them out, like you're trying too hard. You're really trying. But then you see some good films made in different countries that are unique and interesting, they get a good response because people know they're real rather than they're just this with the bollocks. So, you know, they may not get good publicity for them, but they'll get some good reviews, and you just have to find them if you're going to look for them. You have to put the effort in to find them. And it's actually quite... Sorry.
No, I was just going to say there's plenty of kind of mainstream films from other countries that are done very well, and are genre films that aren't art house films, but they're just done really well in other countries. It's just generally Hollywood can't make the same equivalent.
Yeah, and I think actually ultimately it's just a mega budget thing where you don't have any say in anything because you have to protect your massive investment. It's like if you didn't have spent all this money, you could have actually have done something interesting.
Yeah, because if you're tiptoeing about going, oh, we've got to please this demographic and we've got to please this demographic, you're going to end up just with a piece of shit, basically.
Yeah. I saw this film, I did review it last year, called Revenge, which was made by a woman. It was about a woman who gets raped early on and she goes for revenge on people. It's a genre film.
Yeah. And
even then, some critics were criticising it for being misogynistic, but showing a woman getting raped and stuff. A woman made it, a woman directed and wrote it, a woman starred in it and showed it. It's a genre film, you know.
Yeah.
And it's a good one. You either like it or you don't, but it's a good example of a genre film.
Yeah, I think Second Sight are releasing a special edition of it soon.
Yeah, I mean there's another one called Prevenge, which was another one made by women about the idea of someone going crazy during a pregnancy.
Yeah.
And what would happen there. That's a unique, unusual thing. That's stuff they should be doing, those kind of weird, interesting films. But a lot of people thought, I'm not sure how controversial it was, but it feels like it made people uncomfortable, so no one's offended by it, but no one talked about it much either because it was very uncomfortable. And there's a lot of films in that era where they might not say they're offended, but it's like, please don't talk about that stuff. It's just too...
Well, do you remember the random kind of backlash against Mad Max, Fury Road? Because some critics thought it was a feminist film, and that somehow made it like bad. It's like a feminist film because Mad Max is like hardly in it and he hardly speaks. And it's just like he hardly speaks in other films.
I know, that's just the story. And it was like, so what's
Super
wrong with being feminist and having good women characters? That's good. It's just when you make them the only thing in the film, that's the problem. It's when if you have them as part of the story, that's cool.
Yeah, and when you do the other extreme of, you know, every female director must be like pushed forward and nominated for Oscars because they're great because they're female. It's like large numbers of female directors aren't very good, the same way large number of male directors aren't any good. So
yeah, it's like a lot of...
It's two extremes.
But then again, most awards always... most of the time it's
awards
garbage.
Are nonsense anyway. But
you're not saying that because Parasite won, though. You're thinking Parasite won.
I've still to watch it. So.
Right.
And of course, because it won, I'm already slightly biased against it and I haven't even seen it. But
yeah,
I really liked it.
I'll try to wipe that from my mind while I watch it.
Yeah, I need to see that one though.
Yeah, I've got it in Blu-ray. I just need to find the right time to watch it.
Yeah, I've also got stuff like I've got like Elephant Sitting Still, but I need to watch still, and it's like a 4-hour epic.
Yeah,
it's like.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it soon.
Yeah.
Well, SJS will probably be rated, but obviously we still haven't watched The Human Condition.
Yeah.
I think that's just a running joke.
No, we are going to do it.
Yes, we're going to do it.
We're going to force each other to do it.
Yeah, the most controversial thing about this podcast is that you haven't seen The Human Condition.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, we bought it. Like, I've got a nice shiny box set of it.
I've taken it out and looked at the book and put it back in several times.
Yeah. I mean, it's like it's part of the plan for the early part of the year, and since we're in coronavirus territory, we'll be shut-ins anyway, so it's a perfect time to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, this
the Arrow print is amazing.
Yeah. I've got the 7-hour Russian War and Peace to watch as well. So.
I've got the 5-hour Until the End of the World to watch again.
Yep.
We've also got that Bergman box set to watch. We're still
yes.
With the next 2 films to do.
I did do a slight spoiler in my alphabet of favourite films yesterday about at least one of the films that will be on the next episode.
I haven't watched that video yet, so I can't berate you until I watch it, then berate you.
It's fair enough, it's 50 odd minutes long.
Yeah. I only saw it this morning and I was like, I'm not watching this.
Got a bit carried away.
Yeah. So I was going to ask, before Ronin started to self-promote, was like, what do you think? Why do you think people get offended so much, though? Why is this kind of feeling of I have to have an opinion about something, and this is so objectionable to me? Like, this offends my very soul because it goes through human history. It's not something that's new. It's been happening since the Greek times of people losing their place over art and.
Yeah.
So why do you think it is?
I think it's partly because we are too comfortable in our lives nowadays. So, like after the Second World War, people wouldn't be offended about this stuff. But now, because the standard of living is so high, then we kind of focus on these more minor things.
Yeah, everything's at people's fingertips. Information's at their fingertips. They feel like they've got a voice and everybody should hear it. They want to feel important, I guess, but...
Yeah, but it's always been happening since the beginning of time, though. It's like, even, like, all the, like, Greek plays, and they were saying, oh, they're too violent, or too horrible of all these people, and so it's something, we seem to be a race of people who are very self-important. And I've got this theory that people do not like to know their morons.
Yeah. It's a form of validating your existence if you have an opinion and you feel like everybody should hear it. You know, like I said before, just because you're offended, it doesn't actually mean anything.
Yeah, I mean that's the worst thing, because everybody's a moron at some point about something. I mean, everybody's stupid at something.
Yeah.
But people do not like to admit it. And it's like, just get over yourself. You don't understand some of this stuff. So?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, but as you said, yeah, people want to know what they're, when they say something like, I have an opinion about this and you must listen to me. And in Twitter just now, it's just going all over the place. It's just lunacy.
Yeah. And it's the herd mentality. If you have an opinion that other people share, then obviously you feel part of the herd and you feel more important, and that's how mass hysteria starts.
Yeah, it's also where no one wants to be told they're stupid. I mean, if we look at the like the political extremes on both sides, they really hate getting told their ideas are dumb because they've followed a ideology that doesn't quite make sense.
Yes.
And it's like they really hate getting told you haven't thought that through, have you? They don't like it. And the same with art. It's like I think also they take art literally a lot of time. It's like it's a metaphor for stuff. It's not really. It's a story. It's not.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people don't really get metaphor or symbolism. They just take things at face value.
Yeah. But
different people have different reactions to the same piece of cinema or the same book.
Yeah, I find it fascinating, but also find it annoying at the same time. I mean, somebody that's really interested. It's just for the people who just lose it and just can't stop moaning about something or other. It's just like, you have to take me seriously.
Yeah. There's more important things in the world.
Fun to follow it.
What's that?
Well,
Yeah, sometimes it's really fun to follow these people who are this stupid and get offended about everything.
Yeah, it's an easy choice, so it's a really easy thing to do to say, oh, I'll just follow them, I'll just say, yeah, you're right, rather than saying, what? Because a lot of time you're going to get absolutely hammered if you say that. That's dumb. You know. And I said, everyone's dumb with some stuff, but when you actually insist.
It's the fact that nowadays you have, certainly in cinema, you have so many choices of what you want to watch. Then why would you waste your time watching stuff that you're offended by or that you don't like? So
yeah, but the thing is, there's so many choices in cinema, but there's not many choices because most of the films look exactly the same. They're pretty much the same thing. Yeah. I mean, it's like
certainly in the mainstream.
Yeah, I mean, most of them. If I'm in a mood to watch something challenging, I'm gonna probably get a film that costs very little money to make. You have to really search for stuff. But if I'm going to cinema, usually I'm just taking my nephew to see something dumb. I'm really not going to be challenged at all. Because there's not much there.
Yeah.
You know. like, I'd rather watch a Ray Harryhausen film if I want to watch entertainment than most films nowadays.
Yeah, because the more money's involved, the safer they want to be, even though the safer they are, the more homogenized and the more worthless the product is.
Yeah. Yeah, but there's also the thing is this kind of fear of like controversy. Please don't let it be controversial. And everything's controversial now because, as SJS said, everyone's bored and they have to say stuff and they have an easy life, basically.
Yeah.
And they feel they need to say something. And it's like, you don't really. Just enjoy it. Then again, we can't talk about doing videos. we're the worst case scenario.
Yeah, but we're mainly positive. We don't tend to do videos about I am offended by this, which some people do, but
Yeah. But you know what I mean? Maybe it's kind of a. I think we should admit to the absurdity of us complaining about that as well, because there is a kind of element where we could be criticised.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, is that someone's background?
Yes.
Is that you?
Possibly.
Alright.
Somebody speeding through traffic lights. I'm
Oh,
sure they're
right.
fine.
Yeah.
I didn't hear a crash.
Yeah. So it's not like Death Race 2000 in where you live then? There's
No, not that I'm aware of.
No,
I
there's
didn't see any flyers for it.
I know. I just thought because of coronavirus that people would start to turn on each other and...
No, we're not quite there yet.
Alright, that's a shame. Better luck tomorrow.
Yes.
It'll make things interesting. Yeah.
So what do we think is the most controversial film of all time? Just for
Yeah.
conversation stuff. In context and impact and whether it actually was or not.
Salo, maybe.
Well, Sallow's the one to jump to straight away because that seems to have kept being controversial for like 40 years.
And Pasolini was killed after it, so...
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty hard to top Sallow for like offending. Like, if you want to offend someone, you can show them Sallow now, and they still will be offended probably.
Yes.
I mean, it's
You
like
just got to tell them it was Angel Delight. It's chocolate mousse. What about Birth of a Nation?
well, that's offensive for political reasons, yeah. But I haven't watched it. I've got it at the Blu-ray, but I haven't
I've
watched
never
it.
actually seen it. I've
Yes,
only seen
Me
it.
neither.
No, I think I bought it because I should watch this film, and I've managed to avoid watching it for a good 2 years because it's like I just don't want to watch it.
It's too long.
It's just one of those things. It's like it's just it's racist. It's like you kind of think, do I really want to watch it? I should, but I really don't want to watch it.
Yeah, but like you say, it is a film that still gets a reaction, the same way Sallow still gets a reaction. I think over time we've perhaps been numbed to violence or sex or even extreme politics in films, but Birth of a Nation still gets a reaction. Sallow, you just have to say the titles and they still get a reaction.
Yeah, I think with Birth of a Nation is most people aren't racist nowadays. They really aren't.
Yeah.
I mean, people complain about racism, but most people are not racist. So when you look at it, you go, oh, there's some kind of reaction to it. It's like you don't.
Yeah.
There's a kind of involuntary, like, reaction to it because you know it's a racist film. But I think both of them can still get a reaction.
Yeah.
There's I think in books, Naked Lunch will still get a reaction. If you give it to someone to read, they still will be like, "Oh my god, what is this?" There are still books like that, or they, I mean, there's always something that's always there that's still going to be offensive, and most things fade with time. But I think the good thing is, most of the I brought up mainstream films is most of the stuff I get offended with is like something that's conventional and has been thought through and is really it's kind of supporting a lot of dumb assumptions by the ruling class that I think are a bit stupid. Like, to me, that's controversial more than something like Crash or Salo.
Yeah. Or just being offended by blandness and mediocrity.
Yeah, that's what I've always kind of getting bugged by. I mean, for all means, be stupid if you're doing a mainstream film, but just don't be that kind of bland, conventional, supporting the mainstream kind of blah thing where you're probably being subtly racist and subtly sexist in really weird ways that you don't even know. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And you're also just being completely forgettable.
Yeah.
I've never really understood people who put effort into making something and then of course it's just like completely forgettable.
Well, they don't know that. They think they're doing something great because their brains are full of crap, basically. But
the decisions they make throughout the process just lead to that outcome.
Yeah. But for me, that's controversial. Why are they making films that are just... And it's not just films, it's TV and just lots of stuff online. It's just this nonsense they haven't put the effort into think through. To me, that's much worse.
It comes back to there's an audience for it.
I know.
It's like if that's why they kind of stopped making Schwarzenegger, Stallone action films because the audience had kind of changed, and then we got to Bruce Willis action films.
Yeah.
But if James Bond films, for example, just stopped making money, they would stop making them. It's just like anything else. As soon as something, if it's not making money for them, they'd stop making them. So there is an audience.
I know.
Partly the audience is to blame.
Yeah, but also whatever's popular, this kind of very kind of conventional mainstream audience will infect it and make it bland anyway. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It becomes this mentality of something that was new, was a bit subversive, will become very conventional, very scared very quickly.
Yeah, until people stop watching Marvel films, they're going to continue to make Marvel films.
I know.
It's just like anything else.
For that one. I like Marvel films.
Just like any trend.
Yeah, I mean, it's like there's always like kind of. I think generally it's not specific films or series of films. I think it's just a general attitude. There's always kind of mediocrity at the top that just sort of creates this kind of cultural blancmange of stuff that's just kind of soft and dull and can't stand things that are controversial. Yeah, no.
As an audience, we do actually have the power to change multi-billion-dollar corporations just by not going.
Yeah, I know. But who doesn't go?
Exactly.
Plus, you and I are probably aged out the audience range anyway at this point.
Yeah, we are past the demographic.
Yeah, we're kind of... we don't count anymore. We have to go and watch our old films and stop moaning.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, SJS, it's your fault now.
Yeah.
We can blame you.
I think most people always blame the companies and not the people, and I think we should only blame the audience, basically.
Yeah, I mean, it's in the audience's power just to change their minds, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah, because, I mean, I've got to ask, see when you hear something's controversial, don't you get a bit excited about the idea of going to see it? Or something that's offended people?
It adds notoriety to it,
yeah.
And a lot of films have made their money on that notoriety,
I know.
Despite not being good films.
I know, but it doesn't give you a little thrill, at least until you realise you've just been played.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you get something like Crash or with a real director. You think, oh, finally something good might come out.
Yeah, because you know who the director was, but if that was directed by John Smith and it still had the same controversy, obviously it would be a different film if John Smith directed it. He's a terrible director. But would you have still went to have seen it?
I think a lot of people get sniff it out before the film's even released, like, this is fake controversy. You know, like, this is just them trying to be controversial rather than delivering anything. I think you get a lot of publicity, then no one goes the first weekend, that's it over.
Yeah, and we're back full circle to a Serbian film.
Yeah, that was kind of like the thing, because I knew it was going to be a piece of crap, right? But I wanted to see, just in case there was something subversive there, he saw it and it was like, nope, this is just the most awful thing ever.
Yeah, but it got those labels, the most extreme film, and obviously it did add to its notoriety.
But you can throw stuff at the screen all the time and
Yeah.
it doesn't matter, it doesn't mean anything. It's just blah.
Yeah.
I mean, it pretty much is the Serbian film pretty much is almost like a mainstream in its attitudes of it's not about anything. It's almost like a Hollywood movie in some way because it's all about the effects and not about anything below the effects. It doesn't mean anything. Nothing in it means anything.
Yeah.
And it's easy enough to try and create that within a film. Which is annoying, but
Yes.
that's the way it goes sometimes. So, are there any other controversial films we all kind of think is worth noting?
I mean, there are a couple of Kubrick films like Clockwork Orange and Lolita, and maybe even Ice White Shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kubrick withdrew Clockwork Orange himself, but it probably might have been banned at some point. But
Yeah.
that was a self-ban, which is unusual.
There's Peckinpah as well at the same time, like Straw Dogs and
Yeah,
Wild Bunch. I think a lot of stuff in the early 70s were pushing it. I mean, Kubrick definitely pushed it. But, he's... Yeah, the self-ban thing is weird. I think he was getting threats to his family and things.
Yeah. Because of a few copycat, allegedly, incidents.
Yeah, but I think with some of these Straw Dogs or Clockwork Orange, to me, those are some of the least interesting films of those directors because they're trying too hard. It's like, you don't need to do this stuff. It's just like pushing for effect, but it's like you're trying to
Yeah, because again, for Clockwork Orange, obviously it was a book before by Anthony Burgess, and you have to remember that Alex character in the book is like, 13 or 14?
Yeah.
Doing these things, which obviously they couldn't show in a film. So sometimes the books obviously are more transgressive than the film adaptations.
Yeah, but it's also, I mean, that's the thing is like sometimes saying things that are controversial might date you a little bit. Because I think Clockwork Orange is...
it's controversial at the time.
Yeah.
It does date you, yeah, you're right.
Because I mean, I think Clockwork Orange is dated. It's a dated film. I don't think it stands up the same way like 2001 stands up or Barry Lyndon. Or Lolita. I think Lolita's a much stronger film nowadays because it's still a controversial subject about...
Yeah, that doesn't change. Yeah, that doesn't change.
I mean, Lolita's still a strong film and still kind of unnerving because it's so entertaining. But it's entertaining about something you don't really want to be thinking about.
Yeah, I think Lolita is David Lynch's favorite Kubrick film. So.
Yeah,
that
makes sense. Oh yeah, Blue Velvet. That was controversial in release because people could. And on you go, SJS. You know you want to do it.
Yeah, I mean it obviously has this kind of shocking rape scene in the middle of the film, so I think that could be very shocking and controversial, even today.
Yeah, there's a tone to that one as well. I think a lot of controversial films, the ones that are really controversial remain, they have a tone to them that you can't get out of. It's just there that's keeps it. If it's not a subject matter like Buffer Nation, sometimes a film with a certain tone can get under your skin in a really weird way, and it is kind of controversial and it's going to remain that way. Like Blue Velvet, there's something about that that's just...
Yeah.
It's just in it in the film somehow. And I think something like Crash is still always going to be controversial because just the subject matter, the way it's filmed, just there's something about it, it's always going to be uncomfortable. Or Lolita, there's some films that just are never going to be comfortable for an audience. There's something about them that's never going to fit into any society.
Yeah, but then they shouldn't be.
Yeah. I think that's good though to actually have that as a subject matter. Also, Mishima was controversial in Japan because it hit all the sore spots about the idea of of Mishima himself and who he was. But it's also you watch the film. It's never going to be an easy film for anybody because it's a film about an author who's also like a right-wing fanatic and he's a fantasist, and it's all about all these different aspects of a person. That is something that's a bit uncomfortable to watch. Yeah. Same with Taxi Driver. Taxi Driver's like all about the unhinged aspects of like men in their 20s, which is never going to go away. There's always going to be that part of society in there.
Yeah.
And that's still unnerving, I think, even now.
Yeah, it's one of the few classic Scorsese films that I think stands up.
Yeah. I think because a lot of it is just a good mix of script, person, directing it, and lead actor. It's just there's something about it that they got what it was about and just made this thing that's just creepy, and it's still kind of creepy. And
yeah.
I think there are some films that are always going to be that. There's going to be something about them that is going to get to you.
Yeah, but you're right. I think if you have the underlying theme that is never really going to age, as opposed to making a film about a controversial subject of the time, then that's going to change. That's going to age, sorry.
Yeah. Like, I actually think like Clockwork Orange could have, for me, doesn't work as well because I think it's too early 70s. I think the subject matter was really strong, but I think the way it was done was too tied to the time, at least for me.
Yeah, I mean, I still like it, and I still dress up. No, I don't.
Yeah, you do.
No, I don't. I've stopped doing that now. Yeah, it's still a very good film, but
yeah, I really love it. So
yeah, it's.
I perhaps don't revisit it the same way I do these other films, but it's still very good.
I watch it once a year at least.
Right. So we know who dresses up then. Some of The Shining. The Shining was not a popular film when released. It did okay, but it's got a power that's kept going because there's something about a tension from a family that is under people's skin. They know it. So it's not about the ghosts really. It's about this family destroying each other. I think that's what keeps it going.
Yeah, because Kubrick wasn't really interested in the other part of the King novel.
Yeah,
I don't know whether it was maybe just controversial because of King fans. Stephen King himself obviously hates it.
I think it was a tone, because a lot of people don't find it scary, and other people find it's really scary. I find it really creepy, that film. Yeah. I think a lot of the scares are about the family dynamic, and that's the reason why it's remained as a strong film, because there's something beyond the ghost story that actually is uncomfortable, and it's always going to be uncomfortable. It's always going to be something you're going to go to. It's about something you're never going to quite figure out, and that's why you're going to keep watching it, because it's something in real life you can't figure out.
Yeah.
For me, it's one of the funniest films of all time.
Yeah, it's hilarious. It's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff he says is insane, but it's like the kind of stuff you'd know that people do not say, but they might think, and that's why it relates to a lot of people. It's like, I mean, you look at real life, how much domestic violence goes on in real life, how much fights between couples. I mean, that's all about that stuff, really.
Yeah.
But it takes it to the furthest extreme, and it's about the emotions going beyond the surface, the resentments that happen, and
the destruction of dreams.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, it's
the death of ambition.
Yeah, you go there. I mean, but I think there is some of the films that I think there's a surface controversy you can get for a few years, but I think the films that actually last, that remain controversial, remain unsettling, there is something to the film, and there's something to the tone of it, and I think it's something a lot of directors maybe get one or two of them, that's it, because you can't really, it's something you have to have sensitivity towards, that's really unique and interesting. I mean,
because with Sal, it's essentially about power corrupts, and unfortunately power will always corrupt. So but then the people in power don't want to kind of let that be known, even though everybody knows it's true. So that's why Sallow will always live on.
Yeah. I mean, let's face it, you look at Sallow, you look at Boris Johnson and Donald Trump, you're like, yep, that's going to happen.
It's the fact of the matter is, if there's no consequences, people in power will do terrible things to other people if they can get away with it.
Oh yeah, there's just something there.
Catholic Church, the BBC, any institution, if they can get away with stuff, they'll do it.
Yeah, we haven't mentioned Dr. Strangelove, which scared the hell out of me when I first saw it, even though it was funny as hell. It was just something, just all about nuclear war, and it remains, because it was laughing at nuclear war, the worst thing we'd ever possibly do.
Yeah, somebody said, I can't remember who it was, it's one of the scariest films ever made and one of the funniest films ever made at the same time, which is quite hard to do.
Yeah. So this whole thing become a Kubrick love fest, basically, isn't it?
Get there eventually.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's also, I mean, I think some films, they're controversial when they come out, and they're less controversial once you've worked out what they're about, really.
Yeah.
It's something that is not like they're shallow, it's just that you work out the tone of them in your head, and you can say, oh, that's fine, I can work this out now. You know.
Yeah. I mean, a perfect example for me is Driller Killer by Abel Ferreira, which obviously was one of the video nasties. But when you actually watch it, it's not really about a driller killer, it's about living in a city, the isolation, and how you can go mad through that. It's less about drilling people's heads, because that's a small part of the film, but obviously with a title like that, it was always going to get on the video nasties. But it's actually more about living in a city.
But it's a great title.
Yeah, it's a great title.
Yes, it's like there are films like that you can. I mean, remember when The Thing was first released, it was really controversial, because I think the tone of that when you first saw it was like, oh, there's something weird about it. But now it's been toned down by having seen it imitated so often. I think a lot of people don't get the full effect of it anymore when you see it when you're young. People who have seen the rip-offs.
Yeah.
When I saw it full on early on when I was young, and it scared the hell out of me. You know. I mean, I think SJS, you said when you've seen it, it's okay, that's it. Alright?
Yeah.
Yeah. But you've had like 30 years of imitations come out from it, really, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it doesn't have the same effect. I think a lot of horror films have that problem, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same with the Universal Monsters. The people that saw the Universal Monsters films when they came out, they were scared out their minds. Whereas now there's more lovable charm to them, rather than being terrified by them.
Yeah.
But you have to remember, when they came out, people had never seen anything like that.
Yeah. It's funny you say that, because I've got a video of one of them coming out tomorrow. Bit of self-promotion, sorry. You just,
That's fine.
Yeah, there is a kind of thing where sometimes something's controversial.
Context.
Yeah. It's and some things slowly change and other things just remain like something that's never going to get out of your system. I think it's a case of if it's something that's always going to be a problem for people, it'll always remain somewhat controversial. I mean, Life of Brian is still somewhat controversial, even though it's allowed a lot more now. But to anybody who has a religious thought, I don't think it's even Christian, this idea of this film that's mocking the way faith works, it's never going to. They're never going to be happy with this film. Even if it's not your religion, there's still going to be something about it. It's always going to be a bit annoying to you. Does that make sense?
Yeah. But then everybody's going to get offended by something.
Yeah.
Sadly.
Hopefully.
And
I finished that video, hopefully.
Yeah. And I think that films can become controversial again. Like the Monty Python films, for example. If they start banning the words and jokes that they made in those films, now they might become controversial again. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because everyone's now getting offended by stuff in the past.
Yeah,
that's nonsense. Just put someone in the front saying this was funny then. That's it. I mean, whenever I see that, I just think, "Oh, grow up," you know.
Yeah.
But I know what he's saying. There is something about people get offended by stuff that was written 20, 30 years ago. It's like a big deal now, and it's like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
I think it's just a case of people being immature and not being able to accept life's complicated.
Yeah.
But what can you do? People are idiots.
Yep, that's the take-home message.
Yeah, that's what you should call the title of this video. People are idiots.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that'll be what we should tell them, everybody. Yeah, but I mean, we're going for over an hour. I think we better stop now before we bore everyone to death. So,
fair enough.
Yeah. So thanks a lot, Ronin, for coming back, for being
That's fine.
an SJS film, for coming along and helping us out with this controversy.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
No problem.
That's okay.
Well, anyway, go see his channel. He's been doing lots of good videos, and go and watch. So you want to tell everyone where we can find you?
Yeah, it's SJSFilms on YouTube. Yeah.
And the other one, and your podcast?
Folgers and Ashers.
Right.
Also on YouTube, yeah.
Yeah. So, do you have a new podcast out soon, or do you still record?
I mean, I don't know yet, because we still haven't watched all the films for it.
All right.
Yeah.
But we are kind of gonna make a double episode, so it's gonna be even longer, so probably 3 hours.
Yeah. What we should do here is to say it's all Isaac's fault. How's that? Is that good for you?
Yeah, it's actually his fault. It's not mine.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
And
Isaac,
shout out to that little cretin.
yeah. Isaac, it's all your fault. Let us end with that. All right. Well, we hope you enjoyed that, and we'll be back next time with some more Bergman.
Yes, and leave your comments below of what are your most controversial films of all time, because we'd be interested to see if there's any that we've missed, because I'm sure there will be.
Yeah.
And thanks for watching.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.